Managing my anxiety. Hi, my name is Teresa. Welcome to Conquering Chronic Illness. Today we're going to be talking about my journey with medication and anxiety and depression. First things first, you might be annoyed. I'm not going to discuss which medicines I took. I'm going to discuss more of my journey in trying medications and how I have gone about it. Some of the things that I would not do again, and some of the things that have helped me. Have I found the medication that is helping me? I think so. We're crossing fingers and hoping that this one works out. Hold on a second. I started trying to manage my anxiety and depression, mainly anxiety in the beginning. What year? It's 2022 now. So I'm thinking 2018. I believe 2018. Because that was when I found my primary care physician, and the nurse in my primary care physician's doctor's office was like, I mentioned that I was also looking for a gynecologist, and she was like, hey, I go to this one, she's great. And so I went to her. She's actually pretty good. And like, she just asked me. So like, they asked about mental health now at the doctor's office. Is kind of your annual, which is awesome. And I was like, yeah, I've dealt with anxiety since college, right? I've never tried to use medication to help me with it. But I think at that point I was just like, well, obviously I need to try something else, because 4 years ago I was 34. And so for like over a decade, I tried to do it without medication, with varying results, none of them particularly great, right? So she was like, well, we'll try this. Tried it. At first I thought it may have been doing something, but after a couple of months I was like, this isn't really doing anything, right? So I just quit taking it, which is something that I regret. Not that I didn't have any issues stop taking it. Sometimes you do. I didn't. I just quit. I was on a pretty low dose. I don't think I would have. But I regret not just stop taking it. I regret not going to my prescriber and being like, hey, this didn't help, because they have remedies for that, whether it is increase the dose, try something different if you're having negative side effects, or you just like, don't just quit. Like, if something's not working, tell your provider. And so I didn't say anything about it. My next year, probably like a whole year later, at my checkup, my primary care physician, my checkup with my primary care physician, they asked the same questions about mental health. And I told them that I was taking something that didn't work and I just quit. And my nurse was like, you know, that we have other things. Are you still dealing with anxiety? I was like, yeah. She's like, you've just been anxious, no medication, and didn't call nobody. I was like, no, that is exactly what I did, ma'am. Hearing you say it out loud sounds silly, but that is exactly what I did. And so me and my doctor, since that one didn't do anything, but I didn't have any negative side effects, I tried something else, and it worked for like a year and a half. I was, chef's kiss. This is awesome. Phew. Like, thankfully, that is rare. I am finding to, like, one, not have negative side effects with medication. Two, on like the first or second try, find something that works. That is rare, but it did, and it worked well. And then it just quit right around the beginning of the pandemic. And it's also right around the time I started having really bad fibromyalgia symptoms and what I know now to be psoriaticarthritis symptoms, right? And what I know now is that anxiety and depression get worse with fibromyalgia and also with autoimmune diseases, right? Pain in general makes your body more anxious. It raises cortisol, all that other stuff, and so does fibromyalgia. So, not knowing then that was the trigger, for my anxiety and depression getting worse. Since I wasn't having negative side effects with the medication that I was on, the first kind of go-to was, well, we're just going to increase this dose of medication, right? Um, and I also explained to her some things that was going on in my body. And she was like, well, let's increase the medication first and then we'll see how it goes, right? And so, increase the medication, I started having side effects. I take it back. I had one side effect with the medication that worked well that I got from my PCP, and that was to raise my blood pressure a little bit. But as long as I watched what I ate, my blood pressure was fine. But increase the medication, not only did it not help, but it made the side effect of raising my blood pressure worse, and I got some additional side effects. And so she was like, okay, let's wean off of this one, and then she prescribed something else for me to start taking once I weaned off of that one. Or if weaning off of that medication or the side effects got too bad, that I needed to just start taking something else. I will say this. I won't say which medication I was on, but the class of medications, SNRIs, not SSRIs, but SNRIs, are notoriously difficult to get off of. And that is not something that is often stated. I think when doctors are dealing with people who are dealing with anxiety and depression, they want to help and not so much bog them down with the what ifs. But had I known that SNRIs were so difficult to get off of, I would not have tried it. Now, it would have been something that have worked, and had like I not developed these other conditions and made my anxiety worse, I would not have tried a medication that could have helped me for the rest of my life, which is probably why doctors don't say much about, don't harp much on the side effects. They just hope that you don't get them, and if you do get them, they can manage them. But yeah, like SNRIs are something that I tell my psychiatrist now that I will not take, because I mean, it was a nightmare coming off of. And when instead of stopping weaning that, I started something else, which did help with the withdrawal symptoms of the SNRI, but did not help with anxiety and depression. And so I'm taking this medication. And I go back to the doctor. I'm taking the new medication. Did the side effects help? Did it help the side effects? Yes. So we're on medication 3 now. Did it help the side effects? Yes, absolutely. Did it help the anxiety and depression? No, it didn't. And so she was like, 2 things. Now you need to go see a psychiatrist and you need counseling. 3, you have fibromyalgia. I think you need to go to a rheumatologist. Isn't it? A diagnosis of exclusion. And she ran some tests that she was sure that the insurance wouldn't like flag as something that wouldn't basically charge me more for her running for just primary care, to get the kind of ball running on the exclusion process for fibromyalgia, and sent me on my way to a psychiatrist. And I think I had another appointment with my doctor where she kind of urged me to go to a rheumatologist. I think I made the appointment because she was concerned that whatever anxiety or depression medication I got on would only go so far with the other symptoms that I was dealing with. And so, no, I feel like I'm messing up. So I may have to cut that out and start over. So I actually got to see the rheumatologist before I got to see the psychiatrist, because it was such a long wait for the psychiatrist. I saw the rheumatologist. He officially diagnosed me with fibromyalgia and increased the dose of the fibromyalgia medicine that I was on. I had horrible side effects, y'all. Horrible side effects with the medication. I literally felt like I was going through menopause. There's no other way to explain it. What symptoms were you having menopause? It literally felt like menopause. Like hot flashes, night sweats, dryness. Like literally my skin started getting scaly and dry. Other things started getting dry. Look up fibromyalgia symptoms, but heart palpitations, hot flashes, but also cold sweats, just like, there was a list of like 40 or so symptoms for menopause that I printed out. and like I had like 35 of them, and I literally took it to my gynecologist. Was like, this is what is happening to me. Is this menopause? She was like, are you having a period? Yes. Probably not. I would talk to your doctor about the medicines that you're taking. And so when I went to the psychiatrist finally, I think it was February, and I may have tried to schedule an appointment in November. There was just a wait. When I went to the psychiatrist finally, she took me off of the fibro medicine and put me on 2 separate medications, one for anxiety, one for depression. Neither of them worked, and they also had horrible symptoms. I was incredibly nauseous. One of them was supposed to help me sleep, and it helped me sleep the first night, and then I was not able to sleep anymore because I was so sick. Did not offer to call in nausea medication at all, which I know now that is something that can be done. And yeah. She did, literally what happened was I didn't have any money to go back and see her. So after I stopped taking the medication, I was in communication with her stopping taking the medication. I didn't have any money to go back and see her. I made an appointment anyway, even though I had a balance and I didn't have any money to go see her or pay the balance or pay for the next visit, and they turned me away. And so not only was I not on any medication that was helpful, like I was actually getting worse. Like I was probably the worst off I had been in March of 2021. That was probably the worst off I had been. And I was just like, I am going to quit. I'm going to quit dealing with all of this for a while, and I'm just going to rest. And so in April, me and Michael went on vacation, and I came back, and that was my mindset. Like, I am just going to try my best to take as best care of myself as I can, and do all the things that I can do, because nothing is working and nobody is really helping me. So to date, at that point, it was 1, 2, increase on number 2, 3, 4, increase on number 4, 5, 6 different medications that I had tried. And that's how I went through 2021. 2021, I also had some horrible hip pain in the summertime. But since I said I wasn't going to go back to the doctor, I didn't for a while. And finally, my husband was like, now look, we're not going to be hobbling around for the rest of our lives. I went back to the rheumatologist to make sure it wasn't anything that had to do with fibromyalgia. He did some x-rays. My hip was fine. He gave me some basically prescription strength naproxen. It didn't do anything. I took it for like a month. It didn't do anything. I actually found online, what is this? Bob and Brad, the 2 most famous, are they chiropractors on the internet? Bob and Brad, the chiropractors on the internet. They had a great video on the specific hip pain that I was dealing with and some massage and stretches to work it out, and it worked in like a week. So months spent in pain for absolutely nothing. I think I went back for like a checkup. Was kind of rushed out of the doctor's office. Because basically in that system of system of hospitals that my doctor's office is under, they do they try to see as many people as they can, and so everybody has to go to a specialist if you have a problem, and if you have a specialist, they won't see you for that problem. You have to go to your specialist. Well, in November of last year, I had the most horrible pain crisis. I talked about it before in the video. I'll link it up here. And neither the rheumatologist or the primary care physician were any help. And after I came out of that pain crisis, I was like, look, when it comes to your mental health and your physical health, you have to have help. You can't just do it by yourself. So I made an appointment with a rheumatologist, and I started looking for a psychiatrist. I got to see the psychiatrist first this time. So at the beginning of this year, I went to see the psychiatrist. She's absolutely lovely. One of the best decisions that I have made when it comes to healthcare. And I've been working with her all of this year, this May now. I've been working with her all of this year. The first medicine that she prescribed for me was something that made me horribly nauseous, but she also prescribed some nausea medicine. And so after a couple of weeks of taking it and the nausea medicine not really helping, she was like, stop taking that one. I'll see you in a week. Well, after about a week and a half, I'll see you next week, because I would see her pretty much every two weeks. Stop taking that medicine. I'll see you next week, and we'll go with Plan B. Plan B was to do an actual genetic test, which is probably the highlights of this horrible drab story. And the genetic test doesn't tell you which medicine is going to work for you, but it does tell you how your body will probably respond to certain medications based on your genes. Will this make you sick? Will this make you sick? Are you more likely to experience negative side effects? Are you a slow metabolizer of this medication? That just simply means that your body breaks the medicine down too slowly to get it out of your system before the next dose, and so you can end up with too much of it in your symptom, and that can have negative effects. Or are you a fast metabolizer? Will a normal dose not be enough because your body metabolizes and gets it out so quickly you don't even get a chance to see the symptoms? With this medicine, will this medicine should this medicine be okay for you to take? Not saying that it'll work for you, but it may be okay for you to take. And so I got to see like actual written proof of why I was having the side effects I was having with some of the medications that I took before. I got to see that, yeah, the medicine you were taking was working. You probably did need a higher dose, and maybe you needed symptom management until your body adjusted. Or maybe it was the fibromyalgia that you were feeling and it wasn't, just all sorts of things. Also, which medicine might be great to try next, which is what I've been doing for the past, it's been over a month. I was nauseous the first couple of days, but I had nausea medicine because my psychiatrist knows I get nauseous sometimes. But then how I knew that this was probably going to be a keeper was the nausea got less and less. And now I can take it on an empty stomach and it not bother me. I don't, because you shouldn't do that. But I can. Like I took it this morning, just had a banana and went to pick up my kid and got back and ate breakfast, right? And so, yeah, you don't want to take a medicine that's going to make you sick. Now, is it working for my anxiety? I don't know. I'm leaning towards yes. This may not be the dose that we stick with. I'm probably not going to change it now because I'm working with my rheumatologist on for medicines for my autoimmune disease. So I may not switch it up now, but for right now, like, it's not making me feel bad. And I don't know if it is the anxiety medication or if it is the medicine I'm taking for fibromyalgia, or if it's the medicine I'm taking for the autoimmune for psoriaticarthritis, but the stomach issues that I have resolved. Like, for almost 2 years, like, I would just get horrible upset stomach when I ate pretty much most food, any food that required effort in digestion, if it was cruciferous or had too much fiber, beans, or too much meat at one time. Like, I was eating lots of cheese and crackers and Jello at this point, and really and truly, even things that weren't difficult to digest hurt my stomach. Like, I just had a lot of stomach pain specifically from eating that has resolved. I can eat food now, and it's so nice because I love food. Like, that was probably the worst part of all of this. The fatigue, the pain, of course, but also, like, I can't eat. And then, like, well, manage your diet. And it's just like, I can't eat. Like, I just eat bread and crackers. And, like, will that help me lose weight? No, but, like, I need to eat and everything else hurts. So I don't know if it's anxiety medication, but whatever. That was medicine number 8. Because, yeah. So took one, it didn't work. Waited a year, took another one, it worked for a year and a half. Then it stopped, increased the dose. It didn't work, tried another one, it didn't work, tried another one plus one for fibromyalgia, increased the dose. It made me sick, Tried 2 more for anxiety and depression. They didn't work, made me horribly nauseous. Tried another one with a new psychiatrist. It made me nauseous. 8th one, number 8, doesn't have horrible side effects and might actually be working. What did I learn from this debacle of a situation? This is not abnormal. This is the norm. Most people give up and just try or find something else that works for them, whether it's psychedelics or whatever. I don't live in the state where I would risk it. Maybe if I lived in California or a more liberal state, I would like seek that out. I don't have the money to go out of the country to try it either. So, and psychedelics are like shrooms and stuff. They're actually being studied and they are helpful for a lot of people, but I don't have access to that or the funds to get access to it. So I was, this was the route I was going to take. I tried to do it other ways: yoga, meditation, Jesus, quitting my job, like all of those things. None of that helped me. I just was able to maintain and not, I can't even say not get worse. So things I've learned: 1, if something's not working for you, say that, right? And follow up. I did try to do that in the end and end up being turned away because I didn't have enough money, which is unfortunate, but happens all the time. I was very much discouraged, but like, I got to the point where I had to do something. And so we made the decision after last year to change our insurance and pay a little bit more upfront so that we wouldn't have to pay so much at the doctor's office. Nothing. I don't pay anything to go to a psychiatrist right now. And so that little bit of an investment helped us. And then 2, finding different doctors. Like, if I felt like in the system that I was in, I was getting bounced around, in the hospital system, and I was getting bounced around a lot, and nobody wanted to take the time to slow down and really figure out what the deal is. Like, why is she having so much trouble? There are tons of medicines. Like, on the genetic testing that I did, there are so many different types of medicines, even in the class of medicines that I took that actually worked. And so, like, I could probably try more medicines for the rest of this year. Like, but I'm thankful that I found one on the list that actually works. So, like, finding providers that are willing to take that time, if you're not one of those lucky people who finds a medicine that works right off the bat, was the thing I had to do. I thought I had found, and I love my primary care physician. I don't know if I can go back to her though, because she is in the system that was not helpful to me. I found a new rheumatologist. That's a whole nother day. And so I'm not worried about that, but like, finding a psychiatrist out of the system and finding a rheumatologist out of the system has been the best help for me. So, try a different doctor. Follow up. Make sure you follow up. After the medication, the second medicine that I had worked so well for so long, I really didn't think I'd have to do all that to find something else. And so, sticking with it, once you find a provider who's willing to stick with it with you, is really helpful. And then being honest, like, I didn't know that I could just be like, hey, can I have medicine for nausea? Since I get nauseous a lot of times when I take medicine, it's like $5. It's not a big deal. Like, it's not a medication that has a lot of side effects, and it can really help you get through that initial phase of medicines making you nauseous if you get nauseous, or if for the first few weeks you have insomnia, right? Getting some medicine to help you sleep the first few weeks so you can like give it a good go, because it may take a couple of months to really know if the medicine will work for you. And if you're discouraged by the symptoms, and they're symptoms that easily met are manageable, it's beneficial to be like, hey, I know I'm taking this medicine, but like, and it's nice if the doctor offers, but sometimes they don't. Like I said before, they don't want to harp on the side effects and discourage you from even taking the medicine. Also, to be more realistic, because like I said, I didn't think it was going to take all this. It takes time. Like, even now that I've found a medicine that doesn't make me sick, that does not mean it's not the medicine that's going to help with my anxiety. I feel like it might be helping, you know. So we'll go from here with that. So should you keep trying with medicines? I mean, for me, it has been worth it. Just if the anxiety medication does nothing but continue to help me to eat regularly, my health is gonna benefit from that down the long run. So for me, it was worth it. A lot of people try different stuff, and I was looking into different stuff. I tried CBD. CBD does work for episodic. It's not going to help with anxiety management over time. So it's kind of like ibuprofen. Like, it helps with the pain. It's not going to keep the pain from coming back. Like, if you get recurrent headaches, if you take ibuprofen, the headache will go away, but it's not going to stop you from getting recurrent headaches. Anxiety medication is such that it helps lessen the anxiety over time. The goal is not to have to, some people have to take anxiety medicine for the rest of their life, but the goal is to deal with it as long as you have to deal with it, and to get off of it when you can. So yeah, don't know which category I'll fit in. I have other chronic illnesses, so like, what's another pill a day? What's it really gonna hurt? Nothing. I'm happy with where I am right now. I encourage you to keep trying. Mental health is important. It affects every other aspect of your life. So I would encourage you to keep trying if you can. And yeah, I think that's it. It was an interesting journey. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. And I will see you in the comment section and in the next video.